Welcome to the Streamport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Raw results, Superstar spoilers, and also some wrestling news and some birthdays from the 13th all the way up to the 19th. Happy birthday goes to Hall of Famer Bob Backlund, turned 65 years old. He held the number 2 spot for the longest WWE, back then, WWF Championship title reign, winning the belt from Superstar Billy Graham on February 20th, 1978, and losing it to the Iron Sheik December 26, 1983. A full 70 months. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2013. Happy birthday goes to Kofi Kingston, real name Kofi Nahaji Sarkodie Mensah, turned 33 years old. He has been mired in the mid-card for years now, despite having several brushes with clear storylines. He is currently in some sort of alliance with Big E Langston and Xavier Woods, but then they dropped it and haven't done anything with it. Happy birthday also, beautiful Bobby Eaton, real name Robert Lee Eaton, turned 56 years old. Eaton was one half of the Midnight Express, one of the most successful tag teams in NWA history, with 2 different partners, as well as a member of Dangerous Alliance, which was managed by Paul E. Dangerously, named Paul Heyman. Eaton is considered a wrestler's wrestler due to his smooth in-ring style. The late hot stuff Eddie Gilbert, real name Thomas Edward Eddie Gilbert Jr., would have been 53 years old. Besides being married to both Missy Hyatt and Medusa, Gilbert was also a booker for many years in various territories, including Eastern Championship Wrestling, thus ECW, before Paul Heyman took over and turned it into Extreme Championship Wrestling. Died of a heart attack on February 18, 1995 at the age of 33. The late Gino Hernandez, a.k.a. Charles Eugene Wolfe Jr., would have been 57 years old. He was found dead February 4, 1986, in a mysterious death that was officially ruled as a cocaine overdose. He was 26 years old. Instead of telling you something about his career, simply point to you the triumph and tragedy of WCCW documentary and watch Gary Hart talk about, if you can do it without shedding a tear, then you have reached emotional control level stone. Jeff Farmer, the man who played Sting in the WCW, turned 52 years old. As crazy as it sounds, NWO Sting was more over in Japan than the real Sting in 1997. Changed his name to Super J in 1999. And regularly teamed with Masahiro Chono before going back to NWO Sting gimmick in the Indies. As of 2010, he was a project manager for GEAR, that's a Genetics, Exercise, and Research, a research program at the University of Miami Miller School of Medicine. Former AWA and WWE wrestler Jim Brunzell, Jumping Jim Brunzell of the Killer Bees, turned 65 years old. He was born August 13, 1949. Currently works in sales and spoke about his job and told some fun stories on a fairly recent appearance on the Tom Bernard podcast, which can also be found at podcast1.com. Former pro wrestler Spike Dudley, a.k.a. Matt Heisen, turned 44 years old. He was born August 13, 1970. Former WWE and WCW wrestler Brian Adams died on August 13, 2007 at the age of 43. He was found unconscious by his wife and was pronounced dead when the paramedics arrived. Cause of death was never officially released. Lance Cade died on August 13, 2010 at the age of 29. His real name is Lance McNaught. The cause of death was ruled as accidental and cited intoxication from mixing drugs that complicated a cardiomyopathy. Also, on the 13th, happy birthday goes to 2-time AWA Tag Team Champion, Jumping, already did that, him. Chad Fortune turned 47, and ECW and WWE Spike Dudley turned 44. In memoriam, the wrestling world has also lost 3 personalities on the day. Chris Tolos died of cancer at the age of 75. Tolos was a regular in Canada in the 1950s. Before venturing south of the border into the following decade, he and his brother John became one of the best tag teams of their time Some say best of all time, winning championships all across North America. It is said that Tolos could have become a breakout single star, but he chose to stay near his home in Hamilton, Ontario, to take care of his aging mother and disabled sister. Secondly, former AJPW, WWF, and WCW Tag Team Champion Brian Crush Adams died of a suspected drug overdose. I've already did that. We didn't know he was also a tag team of WCW Chronic. Adams continued to compete in Japan before a back injury forced his in-ring retirement in 2003. He worked as a bodyguard for Macho Man Randy Savage during his attempted musical career, and also had plans to open a franchise of Mark Merrill's Body Slam Health Club before his death. Finally, in 2010, three-time World Tag Team Champion Lance Cade already did all that. He also initially tag teamed with Mark Jindrak before an injury forced him off TV for a year. In August 2005, he re-debuted this teaming with Trevor Murdoch over the next 3 years and won 3 tag team titles. In 2008, had a brief angle with Chris Jericho, where Cade was released from WWE contract amongst the rumors of drug abuse. He competed across North America and Japan for the rest of his career, including another brief spell in WWE developmental, before being found dead at his home. The former Shawn Michaels Academy star, now the Texas Wrestling Academy is what it's called, had a tribute show in his honor. Also, Japanese hardcore star Tarzan Goto turned 51. Also would have been the birthday of former WWF wrestler Stan Uncle Elmer Frazier, turned 77. One-time WWF Tag Team Champion and NWA star Dick Murdoch turned 68. Also Hall of Famer Fritz Von Erich would have been 85. All the birthdays on that particular day. Also on another memoriam, World Wrestling lost its 2 more personalities on this date. At the age of 65, we lost Pat O'Connor. He was an established amateur wrestler in his native New Zealand, winning New Zealand heavyweight championships twice, and a silver medal in the 1950 British Empire Games, known today as the Commonwealth Games. Shortly after the Games, he traveled to America, where he began training to be a pro wrestler under Lynn Levy. His first professional championship came in 1955 when he and Roy McClarty won the NWA Chicago Tag Team titles. Also found success in Canada before defeating Dick Hutton to become the NWA World Champion in 1959. During this reign, he was announced as the first AWA World Champion following their secession from NWA, but would never defend the championship and was stripped after 90 days in favor of Vern Gagne. O'Connor's NWA title reign came to an end in 1961 when he defeated Buddy Rogers in front of a then-record crowd at Comiskey Park, Chicago. The match set attendance and gate records that would stand until wrestling boom in the 1980s. By the late 60s, O'Connor's career was on the decline. He won his last major championship, AWA Tag Team titles, in 1967, but would only hold them for a month. He remained involved in wrestling through the 80s, but his appearances became rarer as time passed. Final major appearance came at the WWF event in 1987, where he competed in an old-timers battle royal in front of only 5,000 people. Secondly, 2007, former WWF and WCW wrestler Dewey the Missing Link Robertson lost his battle with cancer at the age of 68. Robertson's career began in Canada in the early 60s, where he soon became popular fan favorite, and he left for the United States in 1973, quickly won NWA Tri-State Tag Team titles alongside Dennis Stamp, then gained his reputation as a tag team specialist. Over the course of his career, he would win a further 10 tag team titles in various promotions. In 1979, he won his first singles title, defeated Greg the Hammer Valentine to win the NWA Canadian heavyweight title. Then he was signed by WWF. His tenure with the promotion was very brief. He arrived in May of 1985 and then left in October the same year after a run of defeating jobbers but consistently losing to more established wrestlers. He then had a brief spell with the world-class UWF and WWC before retiring in the early 1990s. On On August the 17th, happy birthday to one-time USWA heavyweight champion Buddy Landell. Turn 53, current Shimmer champion Cheerleader Melissa, also known as Cheerleader Melissa in TNA, and Raisa Saeed. Well, she turned 32. Former TNA, also Alyssa Flash, I should say. Former TNA wrestler Magno turned 30. Current 0-1 lightweight tag team champion Susumu Yokosuka turned 36. One-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champion Dick Togo turned 45. On the 18th, happy birthday, one-time WWF Tag Team Champion Dr. Tom Pritchard turned 55. He was back then WWF Heavenly Bodies. In the Memorial 1998 Maryland Championship Wrestling, wrestler Shane Shamrock was shot and killed during an altercation with police officers. As a result of his death, the MCW Light Heavyweight title, which was held at the time, was retired. Each year, MCW holds the Shane Shamrock Memorial Cup Tournament in his honor. 1998, Terry Garvin died at the age of 61. On this date, on the 18th in 2005, the wrestling world lost one-time CZW champion Chris Cash. At the age of 23, he came through the CZW Academy under John Dahmer and would go on to wrestle an entire career with the promotion, as well as a few indie promotions in various areas. Briefly challenged for the CZW Junior Heavyweight title in 2003, but would have to wait another year before winning his one and only Pro Wrestling Championship, as he teamed with Sexy Eddie, Nate Webb, and JC Bailey to defeat the BLK out to win the CZW Tag Team titles. Cash was scheduled to compete for the Ultraviolet Underground title, but injury suffered in a car accident forced him out of the match, and he wouldn't return before he died in a motorcycle accident. He was a passenger on his cousin's bike when a car turned in front of them. The bike hit the passenger side of the car square on. Both riders were thrown from the bike, and both died at scene of their injuries, and the driver of the car was also later died on his way to the hospital. CZW has held the Chris Cash Memorial Show every year since then. Former WWE wrestler Chavo Guerrero will star in a new digital comic book from Lion Forge Comics, according to comicbookresources.com. Warriors Creed's what it's called. Follows wrestler Chavo as he tries to stop an evil organization from using Guerrero DNA to make an army of super soldiers. The line will debut this fall on the Amazon Kindle bookstore and on the Comics Plus app. The series will be available for print after its digital run. Kudos to Chavo for the gig, but I can't say that a comic starring Chavo Guerrero is enough to move the needle for me, but your mileage may vary. The widow of the Ultimate Warrior, Dana Warrior, is upset with remarks from Hulk Hogan made to Grantland concerning her deceased husband. In the video interviewed that was posted earlier, Hogan recounted his final encounter with the Warrior, their contentious relationship, and how he learned of his shocking death. Dana issued a statement on Facebook and Twitter requesting that he not comment on her ex-husband. Her statement reads, "Statement from Dana Warrior. I've been really quiet since the passing of my husband and the father of my girls. Someone sent me that what Mr. Bolia had said in an interview with Grantland yesterday, and I would just like to ask him to stop. He is the only person in the WWE universe who did not give a call or send a card. My girls asked why he didn't check on us like everyone else, and I explained simply there isn't a camera at our mailbox or in the house that we could receive any calls. I would ask respectfully, Mr. Bolia, for you to understand my girl's hurt and just let some time pass before you say anything more." End of quote from Dana A. Warrior. Emma is currently dating recently released WWE developmental talent William McMahon, who briefly appeared on WWE NXT following his release from the company on August the 1st. McMahon revealed Friday on Facebook that they will remain together and relocate to his hometown of Denver, Colorado, as he wrote. I am so lucky to have this woman in my life. Bahamas in 13 days, and then we are moving to Denver. Eva Marie feels that she deserves a shot at the Divas title after pinning AJ Lee on Raw. As she said on the WWE app, I must say that this is the biggest win of my career right now, but I did pin the Divas champion, so I'm entitled to that Divas Championship title match. Lodge Girl of Wrestling Inc. Reports that former WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio appeared in the opening segments of AAA's Triple Mania pay-per-view in Mexico on Sunday night, on the same night as SummerSlam. Del Rio appeared under his new name, El Patron, and was with his father, Dos Caros Sr. As Del Rio said, WWE was racist, and while he may not work for them anymore, he still has pride and dignity. As Conan and his heel stable confronted Del Rio before Del Rio cleaned house with them. And when he made his appearance, he came under his WWE music. As I will go on in this video or on the SmackDown with more news on that. According to SuperLuchas.net and various fans on Twitter, at the end of Sunday's AAA Mania 12 pay-per-view event, a video shown of Rey Mysterio wearing a sombrero, congratulating the company on 22 years and telling the fans that he would see them soon. A message was then shown saying, #FreeRey below, and I'll show a photo at the end of the video. Roman Reigns was at ESPN Studios in Los Angeles on Monday afternoon as Reigns apparently went to Campanile Restaurant in LA for a lunch after making an appearance for ESPN and had a bad experience. He posted a photo of their menu on Twitter with the following caption: "Don't eat the crisp, flattened chicken. It comes with a little extra." A smug bitch of a manager at Campanile 1. And he comments, "Found a bug in my lunch at Campanile 1 restaurant in LAX. AP and the manager was stupid enough to give me an attitude. Unreal. #health hazards." Unquote. Well, WWE producer Kidman tweeted the following after Reigns made that statement. "Restaurants beware. I heard a rumor that at WWE Roman Reigns tries to get free food by saying there are bugs in his lunch." Unquote. Kidman's tweet had a hashtag smiley face at the end of it, and Reigns commented back to Kidman as at WWE Kidman, "I don't need hand-me-outs. I'm not hurting in the pockets by any means, old man. It's not a rumor if it comes from the source." And Kidman then tweeted the following: "Twitter is funny. Yet somehow nobody on Twitter has a sense of humor. Ironic." Unquote. Regarding the recent departure of WWE NXT talent Sean Slate Randall Ricker, it was said by NXT source that Ricker had by far the most potential of all the recent releases. However, Ricker's release is said to be a different situation than some of the other cuts, where due to them not being what WWE wanted, or because of the talents not progressing. It was said that Ricker had the charisma WWE wanted, but there was an issue that came up with him sending an email that got him buried in the company. We don't know what the details of that email were, but another developmental source noted that some things Ricker wrote on Twitter was not what WWE wanted. Similar to what Caval, remember what Caval said about his release? While he was released, he said something on TV that wasn't appropriate. And that source came from Wrestling Observer newsletter. As noted, WWE released Alberto Del Rio after he slapped a WWE manager of social media live event, Cody Barbieri, at last week's TV tapings, as Del Rio confronted Barbieri in catering for a remark that Barbieri made earlier. The story is that someone made a remark to Barbieri about not cleaning off his plate and leaving it on the table. He commented as a joke that he said it was Del Rio's job. Del Rio was not there at the time, but he was told about it. So when he confronted Barbieri, he told him that he did not appreciate the racist remark and wanted an apology. It was going around backstage that Del Rio slapped the shit out of him, knocking him to the floor, and Del Rio's release wasn't so much that he assaulted Barbieri, but based more on how hard the hit was. after he is a talent compared to a jabroni. Del Rio was reportedly told after the incident that he was being suspended for a short time until just past SummerSlam. There's a belief that Barbieri threatened to sue WWE. At that point, the WWE felt that they had no choice but to let Del Rio go due to legal reasons. Triple H called Del Rio on August the 7th, letting him go, and he was reportedly furious. Of course, I would be too. And I'm still backing Del Rio. Somebody comments about me doing something, well, that's racial. I would have just held back and asked him to go outside and then beat that shit out of him where nobody could see about it. And give you some more reports on that. Because some of the WWE talent, such as John Cena, a couple, I think Big Show, and a couple other talents were even backing Del Rio as they want him to come back. As Triple H was even stating that he wanted Del Rio just to calm down for 6 months and he would be rehired. Well, Del Rio turned that crap down and said, I don't want to come back. Like I said, I'd be suing the hell out of the company. Because we already know that certain employees, like Doc Hendricks, formerly Michael P.S. Hayes, is racial. That's why he got suspended for 60 days. Well, it's been reported here by multiple sources about Vince McMahon being down on some of WWE's newest characters, including Adam Rose and Bo Dallas. It was said that this week that Vince's interest, or lack thereof, in Dallas or Rose has hit a low point. There was a feeling that some of the newer gimmicks has been pushed to the side as well. So much focus being put on selling SummerSlam, it doesn't mean that the list of prospects is any shorter or any less deep. Regarding Cesaro, a source noted that Vince continued to flip on pushing him. One week Vince wants to push him, other weeks not so much. Cesaro was used for his mat skills and to put Jack Swagger over in the lawsuit on Monday's Raw. The idea behind Brock Lesnar's destroying John Cena for the WWE World Heavyweight title at SummerSlam was to put Lesnar as the monster over as strong as possible and to make him a breakaway from the pack. They also want to get Cena over for not giving up in a situation as brutal as that and for taking the beating. On a related note, WWE filmed a couple of segments on Monday's Raw, this week's taping in Las Vegas, to air on future episodes of Raw in the near future, since he's not booked every week. And again, thanks to Wrestling Observer newsletter. On Sunday, that a backstage segment was also shot at SummerSlam. Mark Henry and Big Show has been scripted for WWE SummerSlam pay-per-view that may or not been used, because I only seen like 3 matches off the SummerSlam pay-per-view anyways. The internet feed was so crappy, it didn't return after the mid-3 matches. Well, WWE then nixed the segment and a few others that was also taped. They decided to focus more on the in-ring part of the show. And again, this one came from PW Insider. Big E joked on Twitter on Monday about the stable with Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. And he said, thanks to fans for bearing with the absence of at True Kofi and at Xavier Woods, PhD. And the last 3 Raws, and we shoot Medea loses her tax refund in a dice game. A fan replied that they should be pushing for the stable to happen, like some fans are, as Woods replied, I don't think Rosetta Stone has a sarcasm edition, but I guess it would sell well if they did. The Dean Ambrose stretcher job on Raw and a storyline that he's missing after refusing medical treatment was likely done to write him off of TV for a few weeks. That's because he's filming a new WWE Studios movie called Lockdown soon. The Rock is also currently doing media in Mexico for Hercules. One report that it was saying they was doing some filming for Hercules, but isn't the movie already on sale at the theaters? Well, let's confirm that he will also be starring in DC Comics movie Shazam, either as Shazam or as a character as arch enemy Black Adam. but they haven't made their mind yet on which character he will portray. Well, he would fit Black Adam, but Shazam, don't think Black Shazam would fit for storyline to go along with the white character, but this just DC Comics. As noted, John Cena will be back on next week's WWE Raw from Anaheim, California. As of this video, WWE World Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar is not being advertised to appear. The next Raw that WWE has Lesnar advertised for is September 11th, September 15th Raw from Lafayette, Louisiana, the final show before Night of Champions. It's possible that WWE updates their schedule this week now that Lesnar has a title, and they debuted a new title belt on Raw. It's brown leather with the basic new WWE logo on it. And what you all been waiting for, Superstar spoilers. WWE debuts a new intro and apron for this week's Superstars episode. We will see several minor cosmetic changes on the WWE TV this week as a new logo is implemented, even on the title belts. Hornswoggle and El Torito defeated Heath Slater and Titus O'Neil, as Hornswoggle was dressed as a cow. Both Los Matadors were at ringside, and I think it was Diego. He came back from his injury, as Emma also defeated Alicia Fox. Monday Night Raw results from I didn't get to see, so I'm going strictly on the internet because I had to work on Monday night. So I'm passing along from Mark Middleton on one of the dirt sheets. So, Raw opened up with Byron Saxton, Booker T, and Alex Riley at WWE Studios on pre-show. We see fans piling into the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas. Riley plugged the WWE shop. They talk about new World Heavyweight Championship, champion Brock Lesnar, and they're also doing a replica belt, and they're selling it for $429.99. As we see Lesnar 16 German suplexes to John Cena at SummerSlam. Well, from one of the, like I said, there was more than 16, according to how many I read from the results from SummerSlam. They talked more about SummerSlam main event, and they plugged the SummerSlam post-show. Airing tonight after all, Saxon confirmed the Authority will be presenting Lesnar with the new title belt. On Raw, we come back and they discuss Brie Bella versus Stephanie McMahon and Nikki's return. Nikki Bella's return, and Saxon says Stephanie will be kicking off tonight's Raw. Booker predicts someone will step up and put his name on the list to take a shot at Lesnar tonight. Riley predicts Lesnar will sign a full-time contract, and we'll see him a lot more. Saxon announces RVD, Sheamus, and Roman Reigns versus Ryback and Randy Orton for later on in the evening. They hype tonight's show and some more, and that's it for the pre-show. And Raw opens with a video package with highlights from SummerSlam. We were live from the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas with Michael Coleslaw, JBL, and Jerry King Lawler. Daniel Bryan's music hits, and out to a big pot out comes Stephanie McMahon doing the Borgasm. Yes, chance. Stephanie gets some boos as she does the chant around the ring in her new Steph t-shirt. Stephanie thanks the fans for chanting her name. She says SummerSlam was one of the most epic events in WWE history. She talks about the response on social media and says some fans think it was better than WrestleMania. She mentions the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar and says tonight he will be presented with a new title belt. She talks about the rest of the card, but says the biggest loser of the night was Brie Bella, who learned firsthand you don't mess with the Authority. She says the Authority always wins, and we can relive her incredible victory for just only $9.99 on the WWE Network. Stephanie thanks her husband Triple H for being her rock and always standing by her side and being faithful, unlike Daniel Bryan. Stephanie rips into Brie and brings out Nikki Bella. Nikki almost trips on her way to the ring, but plays it off well. She takes the mic and says it was Brie that turned on her. She gets the what treatment. She says Brie didn't become the woman that she wanted her to be. She says Bree is selfish and manipulative. She says it's been about Bree since they were kids, and Bree always blamed her. But when they get in trouble, Nikki disses Brian and Bree for marrying him. Nikki tells Stephanie she's heartbroken over this situation. Nikki says she's standing tall on her own, 2 feet now. She could say that she lost a sister, but she never really had one. Nikki says she's free now, and it feels so damn good. Bree comes out to a big pop. Nikki enters the ring and asks Nikki why she was doing this. Bree says that they were sisters for life, and she loves Nikki. But then she says Nikki has destroyed their family. Bree says that she can forgive Nikki. Nikki decks her again and knocks her to the mat. Nikki says she will never forgive Bree. Stephanie looks shocked as Bree leaves the ring in tears, and fans chant, "You sold out at Nikki." Still to come segment, Brock Lesnar will get his new belt. Also Big Show and Mark Henry versus Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. We go to a commercial break. Big Show, Mark Henry versus Eric Rowan. Luke Harper was up next. Back from the break, out comes the Wyatt family, Rowan and Harper. Big Show was out next to a big pop, and then as Mark Henry comes out, we get German announced team at ringside. What? A German announced team? I guess there's no Spanish announced team. Rowan and Henry went out to start the match. Rowan hit an elbow, but Henry came back with a clothesline. Harper tagged in, but right into a big boot from Henry. Henry beat Harper into the corner and beat him up some more. Show tags in and hits Harper with a big chop in the corner. Big Show with another headbutt and then body shot to the corner. Show with a big scoop slam. Keeps control until Harper hits a big elbow and makes a comeback. Show fights Rowan and Harper both off and tosses Harper over the top rope as we go to commercial. We come back and Show is in control of Harper. Show with a splash in the corner. Rowan provides distraction and Harper drop kicks Show out of the ring. More back and forth as Harper comes back in and takes control. Harper does the gator roll on Show. Show fights up and slams Harper. Rowan comes in and knocks Show off his feet. Rowan manages to scoop slam Show easily and covers for a 2 count. And Show finally drops Rowan and tags in Henry. Henry runs over Rowan with a clothesline. Harper takes out Show on the floor. Henry with a splash and then a slam. And then on Rowan, but Harper comes back in and causes Rowan to fall on top of Henry for a 2 count. Show stops the double team move on Henry, and Harper eats a knockout punch. Henry hits the world's strongest slam on Rowan for the win. Still to come segment, Miz versus Dolph Ziggler with the gold on the line. Also, Reigns, RVD, and Sheamus versus Ryback and Orton. Back to commercial break. Backstage segment with The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, and Ric Flair. Ziggler tells Miz he's not an A-lister, he's an a-hole. Miz walks off and Flair talks with Ziggler. Renee Young's backstage with Seth Rollins. She congratulates him on his win at SummerSlam. Rollins said he did what he was told the entire world he would do. He didn't run or hide. He stood in the ring and proved that not only he is the future WWE World Heavyweight Champion, he is the future of the entire WWE. Renee moved as Ambrose dumped a bucket of ice water on Rollins' back. What is this? It's the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Maybe not. It wasn't announced as such. But Rollins turns around and Ambrose says, that was for charity. Of course, that's the Ice Bucket Challenge. They start brawling until officials separate them as we go to a commercial. Back from that commercial, we get a replay of what just happens. Rollins storms in on Kane and Triple H talking. He says, we've got to take Ambrose out. Triple H tells him to relax. Rollins versus Ambrose in a rematch is made for tonight. Triple H says that people like Ambrose, so he's going to let the fans pick the match. He said the blood will be on the hands of the fans when Rollins destroys Ambrose tonight. Kane wishes him good luck and Triple H tells him to finish it. Natalya versus Paige was up next. We go to the ring. Natalya awaits already in the ring. Diva champion Paige was out next. She's skipping to the ring. Paige cut a promo and dedicates this match to her little friend AJ Lee. They lock up and go at it. They go back and forth. It's a non-title match until AJ's music hits and now she comes to skipping around the ring. As Paige is distracted, allowing Natalya to roll her up for the non-title win. Paige then throws a fit after the match as AJ looks on from ringside. AJ takes a mic and says, despite what's happened, she respects Paige and loves Paige. AJ says that she dedicates her life to Paige. Paige looks confused now. AJ says that she needs to get in the ring and shake Paige's hand right now. Paige quickly escapes the ring, backs up the ramp looking worried as crazy as AJ is looking on. Fans start chanting for CM Punk before AJ's music hits again. Fans can now vote on the WWE app for the Rollins vs. Ambrose stipulation. No holds barred, false count anywhere, or no disqualification. Still to come segment. Lesnar gets his new title as we go back to commercial. Back from the break and out come. And the announcers plug the WWE Network for $9.99. How much is it? $9.99. Heck, I might even put it on here. $9.99. Nah. Well, we go out to the ring and out comes Stephanie McMahon with Triple H. The ring apron is in black, and the new title belt is under a cloth on a podium. Triple H talks about SummerSlam and reveals the new belt with the new logo. He introduces WWE World Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar. Out he comes with Paul Heyman. They all pose with the new title for photo ops. Fans chant for Lesnar as they pose with the new title. Authority leaves and the fans chant, thank you Lesnar. Now, Heyman talks about, takes the mic, cuts a promo on how Lesnar conquered John Cena at SummerSlam. Heyman talks about how John Cena has been the face of WWE for 10 years. Heyman gives him credit for lasting as long as he did against Lesnar. Heyman says Cena earned his respect. Heyman says if he had time, he would love to make Cena a Heyman guy. Heyman says his client does not share these opinions about Cena, but Heyman goes on. Another still to come segment. Ambrose versus Rollins. We get the WWE Intercontinental title match. Miz versus Dolph Ziggler was up next. We go to the ring. Out comes Intercontinental Champion Dolph Ziggler. Back to commercial. Back from the break. Out comes the Miz. Justin Roberts does official ring introductions. They lock up and trade holds. Miz drops Ziggler first with a shoulder. Ziggler comes back in with a big hip toss and a 2 count. Ziggler gets a headlock in as Miz counters with a roll up for a 2 count. They run the ropes. Miz kicks Ziggler's leg out. Ziggler sells a leg injury and Miz stomps away. And then they cut to a commercial. After the commercial, Ziggler rolls up Miz for a 2 count. Ziggler with a backside for a 2. Ziggler counters the move and hits a big DDT for a 2 count. Miz locks in a figure 4 now. Ziggler manages to make it to the bottom of the rope as he get counted out on the floor. So Ziggler wins by count out. Actually, The Miz wins by count out. So Ziggler manages to make it to the bottom rope and then falls to the floor and gets counted out. So Ziggler still stays the champion. After the match, Miz goes after Ziggler, beats him up. Miz rolls Ziggler back in the ring, but Ziggler hits him with a zigzag. Renee Young is backstage with Jack Swagger. He says he failed last night, but America unites when times are tough. Swagger says he's not giving up. He's going to pick himself up and come out swinging. So we got Swagger versus Cesaro up next, as Swagger makes his way out with no culture in sight. We go to commercial. Back from the break. Cesaro is out. We lock up. They go to lock up, but Cesaro goes for Swagger's taped up ribs. Swagger goes to lock up again and gets in the same spot. Swagger misses a shot in the corner and goes down. Cesaro with a gut wrench slam. Cesaro ends up winning a back and forth match with a neutralizer. After the match, music hit and out comes Bo Dallas. Bo says 318 million Americans were let down at SummerSlam when Swagger lost. Bo says Swagger should just have Bo leave. Renee Young then talks to Chris Jericho about losing to Bray Wyatt at SummerSlam. Jericho says he isn't dead inside. Jericho says the fans still have his back. We go back to commercial. So we get Ryback and Randy Orton versus Sheamus and Roman Reigns up, along with Sheamus, Roman Reigns, and RVD. Back for the break with Ryback waits in the ring as Randy Orton comes out on the TV part of it. United States Champion Sheamus is out next. RVD was out next, then followed by Roman Reigns. Sheamus starts things off with Axel as they go at it. Orton comes in. Sheamus blocks the back saber. RVD tags in. As Sheamus hits a senton, RVD hits Rolling Thunder on Orton, sending him to the floor for a breather. As they go to commercial. Back from break, and Sheamus is handing out forearms on the apron. Axel makes a save and takes Sheamus to the corner. Orton pulls the top rope down and Sheamus lands on the floor. Lots of "we want Ryback" and Ryback rules. Well, this is Las Vegas, his hometown. And after the program goes off the air, he thanks the fans and says, "Thank you. I needed that." As Ryback is from Vegas, he tags into a big pop. Ryback unloads on Sheamus in the corner with shoulders. Ryback whips Sheamus in the corner as he goes down his leg. A big Phoebe Moore chant starts up. Reigns and Axel tag in at the same time. Clothesline on Axel. As Reigns hits a Samoan drop and decks Ryback into some boos as Reigns takes out Axel and kicks his leg out. Then Roman gets a Samoan drop and decks Ryback to some boos as Reigns takes out Axel and kicks his leg out again. Reigns with a clothesline on Axel. Reigns runs around the ring and hits a big drop kick on the apron. Then Reigns comes back in and nails a Superman punch. Ryback also gets a Superman punch. Reigns goes for a spear on Axel, but Orton sneaks up over the backbreaker. RVD tags in and nails a crossbody on Axel for a 2 count. RVD takes Axel down for a 2 count. RVD hits a flick leg of the moonsault, but Ryback stops a pin. Sheamus hits a bro kick on Ryback. Orton hits RKO on Sheamus. RVD kicks Orton. Reigns spears Orton. Axel tosses Reigns into the ring post. RVD drops Axel with a kick. RVD nails Frog Splash on Axel for the win. Still to come segment. Rollins vs. Ambrose with the fans picking the stipulation. Back to commercial. Back from the break and Orton's walking backstage. Ric Flair walks up and wants to talk about Reigns. Orton brushes him off. He says to stay the hell away or Flair will find out why they used to call Orton the Legend Killer. We get a backstage promo from Bray Wyatt. He tells Chris Jericho to be aware and says he is the new face of salvation. The Usos versus Stardust and Goldust was up next. Out first comes tag team champions, the Usos. Back to commercial. Back from the break and we get Stardust is out with Goldust for a non-title match. Goldust starts off with Jey Uso and they go at it. Back and forth match start off. Stardust finally gets tagged, but Usos cut him off in the corner with a double team move. Usos keep control for another 2 count. Stardust and Goldust end up getting a non-title win. Not much of the results for that match. Then we get still to come segment. Again, Ambrose vs. Rollins. Back to commercial. Back from the right when we get Rusev with Lana. She praises Rusev and says Russian President Vladimir Putin is proud of him. Mark Henry's music hits and out he comes. Fans chant USA and says that he's the American pride. Henry talks about representing the U.S. in the Olympics. He says seeing the Russian flag raised made him sick. Henry doesn't agree that America's power is gone. Henry says he is going to give Rusev a personal guided tour into Hall of Pain. Henry drops the mic and says, and then they come face to face. Fan chant USA. Rusev strikes first and they trade shots. Rusev blocks a kick and hits a Royal Strong Slam to a big pop. Fouls count anywhere match was up. Next is Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. Back from the break, Jerry Lawler reveals that the fan chose that Falls Count Anywhere match as Dean Ambrose is out first, followed by Seth Rollins. Lots of brawling to start. They followed up the ramp back down the ring with Ambrose in control. Ambrose with a big shot off the top with a steel chair in hand after slamming Rollins onto the chair. Ambrose wedges the chair into the corner. Rollins counters and sends Ambrose face first into a chair as we got a commercial. After commercial, Rollins has control with a kendo stick. Rollins talks trash, but Ambrose blocks a shot. Ambrose takes the kendo stick, but Rollins kicks him. Rollins with more offense and 2 count. Then Rollins brings another chair into the ring as Rollins leaps in the corner but misses and drops the chair. Ambrose with a tornado DDT for a 2 count. Rollins blocks a dirty deeds. Ambrose dodges a curve stomp. They collide in the middle of the ring and both go down. More back and forth. Rollins beats Ambrose down with right hands. Ambrose fights back. Ambrose brings the kendo stick back in the ring and wails away on Rollins. Ambrose with a leg sweep for a 2 count. Ambrose starts throwing a bunch of chairs in the ring. Ambrose takes Rollins to the top for a superplex on the top of a pile of chairs. Rollins tries to block it and fights back onto the top. Rollins turns into a big sit-down powerbomb from the top The pile of chairs for a close 2 count as the table was brought in the ring. Brought in the ring was Rollins with another kendo stick shot. Director of Operations Kane is watching from ringside now as he's brought a brick down. Yeah, it's a cinder block style. Fans chant for the table as Rollins sets it up. Rollins puts Ambrose's head on the table and climbs up for a super curb stomp. Ambrose counters and he climbs up for a superplex. Ambrose superplexes Rollins through a table and they both hit hard on it. Kane gets on the apron and Ambrose decks him. Ambrose tosses Rollins to the floor. He Rosa dives out onto both of them. Ambrose brings it back in and hits the big exploder clothesline. Ambrose with dirty deeds, but Kane pulls him out before the 3 count. Kane decks Ambrose and then takes off his tie. Kane beats up Ambrose at ringside. Now as Kane charges, but Ambrose sends him into the steps. Ambrose backdrops Rollins into the crowd and sends Kane over the announcer's table. Ambrose leaps off the announcer's table and takes out Rollins in the crowd. Ambrose brings Rollins back to ringside and takes it part to the announcer's table. Ambrose takes Rollins on the top of the announcer's table for dirty deeds. Kane blocks it and chokeslams Ambrose on top of the table, but it doesn't break. Rollins gets up and hits a curb stomp on the top of the announcer's table. Rollins tells Kane to finish it. Kane reveals a stack of cinder blocks under the table. Kane holds Ambrose's face on the cinder blocks. Rollins jumps off the announcer's table and hits the curb stomp on the top of the cinder blocks. Charles Robinson screams for help. Fans chant "You sold out" and Rollins as Robinson calls for the bell. Falls count anywhere. Seth Rollins with the referee stoppage. Robinson tells Rollins that they went too far. Rollins then stands on top of the announcer's table and poses as the fans boo. EMTs come to help out Ambrose on a stretcher. Rollins' music hits as he and Kane laugh at Ambrose. Raw goes off the air with Rollins posing. And the dark match after all, in Las Vegas saw Chris Jericho and Bray Wyatt go at it. As Luke Harper and Eric Rowan were at ringside, Jericho fought off for interference and hit code breaker on Wyatt for the win. And then Jericho celebrated with a fancy in the show. Also, did anybody notice the ad on Raw for October 6th where they advertised John Cena as the champion? Was it an oversight or does Cena get the belt back at Night of Champions? My choice is he gets back at Night of Champions. Well, that ends my Raw results. So stay tuned for SmackDown and see you wasn't want to be you. And if you didn't know, you better call me, bro.